Hi. How many people have seen law enforcement individuals and correctional officers use excessive force and terrible techniques while applying hand restraints? I know I have seen it on a daily basis working in a correctional facility. Hi, my name is Jeremy Brandt. Today I'm here to speak with you all about how law enforcement individuals and correctional officers need to utilize proper restraint techniques while restraining prisoners for safety and security. There's a better way for law enforcement individuals and correctional officers that we can exercise when applying handcuffs and hand restraints for better safety and security for ourselves and the inmate and facility in a whole. Second Instruction 1640.9 Department of Navy Corrections Manual outlines the proper procedures for applying hand restraints. I'm going to discuss the differences between correct and incorrect ways of applying hand restraints to a prisoner. Let's start by going over the proper way of utilizing hand restraints on a prisoner. Alright, first and foremost, when you're applying hand restraints to an individual, you'll always want to make sure that the keyholes are always facing out, away from the individual. As you can see here, the handcuff keys are right there. You want them facing out so it's harder for the individual that can't sit there and finagle trying to pretty much escape and get free. And also it's easier for the officer to put on the hand restraints and take off the hand restraints as well. It gives less fumbling options on there, because if you have them facing away from you, the law enforcement individual, you have to reach under and try to do all kinds of craziness to open up the hand restraints, which could be very bad for you, especially if you get the wrong inmate. The double locking mechanisms are always up. As you can see right here, these are the double locking mechanisms. The double lock is just pretty much like a little pen-sized hole that double locks the handcuff once you put them on. Alright, you want to utilize the handshake method when applying the hand restraint. Handshake method is you have the individual put their hand out as if you're shaking their hand, and then you just apply the hand restraint on the wrist and then lock it. And then once you have their hands in there, you want to use the double locking mechanism up top. You want to lock it down just so you don't have any more give, as you can see right here in the handcuff. So once you have a nice snug fit on the individual's wrist, you're going to take your handcuff key and push down on the double locking mechanism until you hear a click. And once you hear that click, you test it out to make sure that the double locking mechanism works properly so the hand restraint doesn't go any tighter on the individual as well. Alright. Always inform the inmate as well whenever you're applying hand restraints, because you have to give them detailed instructions on what you're going to do. It's the respect issue. You want an individual to know what you're going to be doing if you were a prisoner. So we always give detailed instructions on what we want the individual to do prior to doing hand restraints. Alright? So always tell them what you want them to do every given moment of the way. Alright? Once the restraints are applied, you must have 100% supervision on the individual. Pretty much what that means is that you have to have hands-on with that individual the whole time, because once they're restrained, walking around is your responsibility, because if they fall and get hurt, guess what? It is your responsibility, it is your fault, because you need to have 100% supervision with that individual. So always stay hands-on. And then once all that is properly done, just go ahead with your plan of the day. Alright. So now we're going to talk about the incorrect way of applying a hand restraint. Applying hand restraints behind the back is definitely a no-go. We don't put hand restraints in the back of the individual, because it's worse for balance and things like that. And when you walk with your hands in front of you, it's a little easier. So we don't apply hand restraints in the back. It's just a big liability issue. And the keyholes facing away from the fingers. That's another big issue that we have as well with individuals in a correctional facility. Having the keyholes facing towards the inmate is, like I said earlier, it's a lot harder for you to open up and unlock the cuffs and things like that, so we don't want to do that. And the double locking mechanisms are facing down. We don't want them facing down, because if you try to apply the hand restraint, you have to reach under the handcuff and all that to double lock it. It's just something we don't want to do. Alright. And restraining prisoners as stationary objects, we don't do that for numerous reasons. You can't handcuff someone to a rail or a fixed object or anything like that, because where there's a fire or any type of emergency, and then your hand restraints don't work when you're trying to get the individual free, then you possibly might have a death on your hands if there's a fire or anything like that, and you can't get the individual unrestrained. So that's why we don't restrain individuals to objects. And we don't restrain individuals to prisoner to prisoner. That's pretty much like a no-brainer right there. You don't want two individuals, especially if they don't like each other. You restrain them to one person, to another person. They have history together that they don't like each other, and then you possibly got a fight going on your hands. You got two individuals restrained to each other, just going to town on each other. You don't want that. Alright? And restraining a prisoner to another staff member. Well, this pretty much is like a given as well, but you'd be surprised on some of the things I've seen You don't want to put a prisoner restrained to you. That's common sense right there. Why would you want to put a prisoner handcuffed to you, you being a staff member? That's just a no-go. So, but we do have to cover it because you got a lot of people that just don't understand anything about corrections, especially when they're brand new coming into the correctional field. So in summary, we've covered the need for proper hand restraints, handcuffing techniques, as well as the incorrect way of applying hand restraints and the incorrect way of applying hand restraints. It's all about safety and security, so using proper techniques for hand restraints can heighten up the security level, give you a better sense of security for yourself and for the inmate as well, knowing that you have 100% accountability for the individual as well. Thank you for your time and listening. Bye.